Hello guys, checking in, giving you the update that you were looking for hopefully. So all went ahead, not particularly as planned, but we'll fill you in on those details. So arrived at Ward 4, which I'm thinking now afterwards is, I don't know whether they're all done in terms of how serious the treatment is, because obviously mine was one shot of chemo. I was in Ward 4 with a lot of other people who to be honest with you, didn't look, as I hopefully don't, look very ill at all. Would, I guess, make sense to do it that way. So I arrived there, nervous, not knowing what the hell's going on. Had my usual preparation in order of my hat and my headphones. Now, before you have it, they do the quick check on you, temperatures and everything else, and panicked. Got there and they said they couldn't do it because my temperature was too high, which was like another thing that I just couldn't believe, typical again. But as it turned out, the temperature was actually high because I had the woolly hat on, and it was fairly warm, but I had the hat on obviously for my own coping mechanisms with needles. So fortunately they were able to do it after I took the hat off, had a few glasses of water, they took my temperature again, it was fine, went ahead. Now, one thing I wasn't advised about was being hydrated. I try to be hydrated most of the time anyway, but it took 6 doctors, and eventually their head doctor did this. It took 6 doctors 7 attempts to get a needle in my arm, or a cannula in my arm, which, as you know from my personal experience with needles, was absolutely awful. The first one, she went in and scared the shit out of me, excuse the language, but I had my usual coping mechanism. She pulled my headphone out as I was having it done, and she said, "Rob, I've hit a valve," which I had no idea what that meant, what that was. I panicked. I just said, just do what you need to do. She actually panicked as well, which was strange. Pulled everything off my arm and put some sort of cotton wool onto it. Apparently you have valves throughout your body, randomly placed, which I didn't know about. And when people are trying to get a cannula in, sometimes you can be unlucky and it can hit one, which means you can't go any further. It's like a brick wall. So not as bad as it sounded, but I wasn't to know that. So that was the first bad part. Like I said, then a further 6 injections to actually get me sorted. I was dehydrated, so the idea is that they put a cannula in and then they take it out again, and you should bleed a little bit. Now I wasn't bleeding, so that was the concern. They didn't know why, and they put it down to being dehydrated, so I don't know. Anyway, eventually the head doctor came out and he got the cannula in 1.5 inches, and he still wasn't happy. He said it needed to be in 2. The machine would probably reject it. He was about to pull everything out, and then he said, "I'll try one more thing," and then literally managed to get it in the extra 1/2 inch, as you can imagine how he did that. And away I went. I didn't move my arm for 1.5 hours. So in terms of the actual treatment, it was fine. You lay there, fairly nice ward at the Christie. Pretty bored really, just lie there with it slowly drip feeding into you. You have a saline before it, a saline after it to flush you out, but on the whole it's about 1.5 hours lay there. So after the experience of all the needles and all the cannulas and everything else and people trying, we finally got there, and all went absolutely fine. Now, told me to avoid soft cheese and prawns, which I guess is just to do with the bacteria. But we're now 4 days on, 4.5 days on, 5 days on, sorry, from actually having the treatment. Now, they did say you won't feel ill straight away, because obviously gradually it will kill your white blood cells, and then eventually you feel like your lowest when they're all dead, and then they'll start to rebuild. It's now Wednesday, and it was on Friday, so I feel okay today. Yesterday was probably the toughest day. That was Tuesday, so probably about right. Nothing massively ill as I was sort of contemplating, being bedbound and being really bad. And they did say, you might not be, you might be. It's different in different people. So it was a weird experience waiting to see if you were going to be ill. Sort of thinking you might be ill, you might not be, I don't know. But yesterday was the worst. I felt just a bit spaced out and a bit obviously tired, which are all sort of symptoms that you can expect. But yes, some people getting worse than others. Fortunately, mine's a single shot, and so it's not as effective, I guess, or not as effective as, it doesn't have the same side effects that it would if you were on a course. So yeah, on the whole, I felt fairly okay. Other than yesterday when I felt just a bit groggy, but today I'm feeling good, and yeah, looking forward already to getting back to work. They've said 2 weeks. I don't think I'm going to need 2 weeks, so I'm intending to be back at work by next week, Monday. So we'll see. But yeah, in terms of how it went, doesn't really hurt. The side effects, of course, are different for different people, but I felt a little bit groggy, a little bit more tired, a little bit lethargic, and my appetite's gone a bit for certain things. But other than that, I'm feeling good now. I feel like I'm over the hill, and I'm on the mend again now in terms of the white blood cells reproducing. So fingers crossed, it all goes swimmingly, and I can get back to some normality. We're now, I was diagnosed 22nd of August. It's now the 1st of November, and hopefully it is all over, and I can start to fire on to Christmas. Again, thanks for watching. If you've got any questions, if you need any support, let me know. Always happy to support people. But yeah, in terms of, other than obviously the 7 injections, which I already don't like injections, it was fine, and I do feel okay. Let's just get stronger and stronger. My next plan is going to be to start fundraising and spreading awareness, because it's massively important. Everyone I speak to asks me, how did you find it? People want to know. People want to know how to find it and how to look for it, and I've covered it in other videos, but just look, just check. If there's anything, go to the doctors. It takes you 10 minutes to go to the doctors, and hopefully he says you're fine. But the one day he might say you're not fine. At least you've got it and you've caught it and you're there. So check it out. Don't be afraid to do it, guys. Nothing, no shame in it. Do it. But no, thanks for watching, guys. Like I said, in terms of updates on fitness wise, feel good. It was not a nice experience. It was nowhere near as the feeling of a CT scan with the stuff pumping into you, which I've covered in another video as well. But yeah, I'm feeling fine, feeling good. Yesterday was the worst day for me, and I consider myself fairly fit. So, 4 days later, and I say worst, it was nothing. It was just me being groggy. So, thanks for the support, guys. Thanks for watching, and keep it up.